What's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps. I am back for my world tour. Just got back from the country of El Salvador. I promise I can't do it again. This is take two, so I'm sorry. I fumbled the bag. But I'm saying I'm trying to come back to 2025 with a vengeance, and hopefully my next opponent, I can make them snore. El Salvador. Okay.
That
World tour.
was good thing you're a fighter.
Yes. But
That's all I'm gonna
guess
say.
what? This is a special episode. We got co-host Jake Fine in the building, and to celebrate and cap the year off, we got a nice bottle of Funk Harbor. I mean, we did some damage on it throughout the week because obviously it's celebration time, big year end. People just make a big thing out of it. So why not, right? So we're gonna pull up
Bro, this
a little bit
bottle,
of
you see
this.
how empty it is?
We
Like,
got like at the same amount.
bro, I got this bottle like when I came back from your fight.
They say a sip a day keeps the doctor away.
I do feel like my health
That's what my doctor said,
is
at least.
getting worse because I'm drinking all this rum. But it would be worse if I was drinking something else because your rum is
Healthier,
healthier than
full disclaimer.
bullet
Well,
bourbon.
cheers
Cheers.
to the end of a semi-beautiful 2024. I mean, almost ended on a high note. Still think I kind of got stiffed a little bit. Could have been a draw, but it is what it is. The judges saw what they saw, and on to the next. That's all we can do, right? So, cheers. Alejandro Barajo Salentos. I don't know the words, but I learned it in El Salvador. I've heard it before, but they were trying to teach me. I just can't get the dialect.
You're
Cheers.
just not that guy, to be honest.
Probably not.
I mean,
All right,
it's
so
fine.
what we got, Jake? What we got for the year end wrap up? I
So
feel like there's a
I
lot of
didn't
news. Like
I
fight
didn't
news that
tell
were
you about this
announced.
one. I left this off the notes, but the first thing I want to cover is what was the best grappling match of the year? And I have my vote, obviously. I'm a little biased.
Match or fight?
Fight. I'm saying Mofsar and Aljo. That's a,
I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think the consensus from the fans, it seems to be that's what people think. I don't know what's another one that was good this year. Like a tit for tat grappling fight.
it
Where you
could have
got to see a
been
lot of
on paper. It could have been Lopez versus Ortega, but it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, nah. The boys just sat there and swang it out.
But
And
honestly,
slang the thing.
Ortega rolled his ankle right at the beginning of the fight, so I feel like he's
That was
not as
Yair.
No.
That was this one too.
That was against Lopez at the Sphere. I watched it. I was
I
there.
saw him do that when he jumped against Yair, and then he came down and he rolled his ankle. But I don't remember him doing that against Lopez.
No, I'm pretty sure that was against Lopez, not Yair.
Nah, dog. I'm telling you, it was definitely Yair.
Maybe I'm retarded.
That's 100% Yair Rodriguez.
Let me know
That
in the
was early
comments
the
if
year.
I'm the slow one or if Aljo's the slow one. Just putting it out there. He's been hitting the head a million times in his life, and I am just a video guy. So
And still sharp as a tack. I'm still sharp as a tack.
the
But
accents are
that-
getting worse. I don't know if that's the CTE or.
Man, shut your ass up. But that could have been a fun one to watch for sure. But yeah, it definitely didn't deliver on that front. But it was still a good fight in the sense of how Lopez looked. I think he looked really good. With that said, I can't really think of any other ones.
I think it's definitely your fight. That was like Grappler's Delight. For sure.
I can't really think of anybody else. Not off the top of my head in the UFC. Nah.
Did we have any real crazy submissions this year? In the UFC?
Crazy is a strong word.
Agreed.
Rear naked choke?
That's not that crazy though.
No, I know. It's a sarcasm. Dum dum dum. No, I actually no. Not that I could think of. I can't remember any that sticks out. I mean, I don't have a list of all the finishes and stuff. But anything that sticks out at the top of my head. I mean, the craziest one was the rear naked choke of Robert Whitaker, just because of how everything looked after the aftermath. But
Yeah, that was
all in
nuts.
all, no. Damn,
All right.
I could have. Man, it is what it is. It is what it is.
All right, so we got that out of the way. The next one would be best fight of 2024. What would you say? Like the best back and forth fight of the night type fight this year.
Was Pantoja and Brandon Moreno this year? I feel like it was.
I'm pretty sure that was last year at that was 2 international fight weeks ago.
Ain't no way.
Yeah,
That
that was
was
a minute ago. You know why? Because I was there, and that's when I still lived in Vegas. That was right before the your fight with O'Malley.
Okay. Maybe I'm tweaking, but I guess fighted the one that comes to mind is probably Duplessis and Strickland, and I think the next one after that will probably not in any order. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, back and forth. You got Gamrot versus Dan Hooker, and then you also have Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier, which I thought was a pretty back and forth. Like I had it 2-2 going into the third. I think one judge did have it 2-2. I'm not sure about the other two, if it was 3-1 or 2-2, but I know one for sure did. But there was a lot of back and forth action in that. Dustin hitting the reversal, getting it back to his feet, coming back with punches. So that was some good action.
Yeah,
Other than
ended with
that,
a finish. It's pretty cool.
and ended with the finish. He probably had the best submission now that we think about it with the Darce choke. Yeah,
Fair.
probably. Yeah, probably that. Um, but the best fight, I think in between those three. I guess Duplessis. Wait, that wasn't this year, was it? With Strickland,
That was this year.
and then
Pretty
he
sure.
fought Israel. I mean, that was a little back
That was,
and forth too. That was
I don't know.
tight
I
until
feel
it
like we
wasn't.
had some like banger fights that like with people nobody knows about.
Ooh, Orabai, and the kid Robeski, the Polish guy, and the guy, the Mongolian guy.
When was that?
When his eye swelled up and it was like a balloon. His eye was a balloon.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that.
Dude, that fight was nuts. I think they hands down probably has to be the guys.
Or there was one at the Sphere that was insane.
Mm.
Like our like that was the
Zellhuber
only fight on the fucking yeah, that was the only fight at the Sphere that was like
and
really
Ribovich.
lit, you know?
Yeah, Ribovich versus Zellhuber. That was a really good one too, back and forth. Both guys knocked each other down.
That's the one
Um,
to me. That's the fight of the year that I saw.
so I don't know. I think between all of those, they were all pretty good. But the Orabai one, to me, because he was able to, his eye was swollen shut. Looked like they were going to stop the fight. They let him continue, even though his eye was a balloon. And from there, came back. Looked like he was about to get Robeski out of there. Robeski. Don't butcher me on the names, please. It's the end of the year. Be nice. Um, but great fight. And I think it showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit, and just like this sheer will to win and just never giving up, perseverance through any type of adversity that you could face. And you can't teach that, man. You really can't. You could say you're gonna be about that life when you're in the gym, and then when you get cracked one good time, you're like, "Nah, dog, I'm gonna take my check and I'm gonna go home, live to fight another day." A fight like that, that's like inspiring. Like not recommended to go fight like that, but it's one of those scraps that people I think gonna remember for a very long time. That was a barn burner.
When you see a barn burner and you get inspired, like what how does that translate to your fights cuz you still avoid damage at all costs. So like when you say inspired, how does that what does it inspire you to do?
To go out there and scrap like that. But to be honest, like even my last one with Mofsar, like the game plan was to come out and strike, and then somehow the instincts they just took over. And as soon as he threw like a bad punch that was just like way off or too slow, and I just slipped underneath, took him down, boom. It's just so dialed in. But in my head, like coming into this, I'm like, yo, we're gonna stand up, we're gonna scrap it out on the feet. And then if it gets ugly, we take him down if we need to, or he might need to take me down because I might be piecing him up. So I like these are all the things I'm thinking about. I'm like, you watch these fights, get you amped up, and I'm like, I can't wait to get out there and scrap and be next. But then, yeah, that's the thought process. Does it always go like that? No, not at all.
I feel like you're always like cuz you're so good at grappling, you could just be like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not striking with this guy. And then you can just take him
Could.
down and fuck him on the ground. Pause.
Hey yo, we're gonna edit that part out.
No. Actually, no pause. I'm standing on that one.
Damn,
Pause.
you gonna double down? Okay, respect.
Cheers.
But
It's the Funk
that's
Harbor talking.
that's my thoughts on the fights of the year. Those guys I think are the true candidates in terms of like back and forth. Not maybe not fight of the year for Islam and Dustin, but in terms of back and forth action, high level, high stakes. I think you kind of got to put those guys in that conversation between Dustin and Islam. Um, 5 minutes could have changed everything if Dustin were to land the money shot. Pause. Or Izzy versus DPP. It is DDP or D.
Is that
Dr-
really? Is that really what we got? Like,
Nah, I mean we got some like crazy finishes, like Ilya Taporia. We got Max Holloway. Like those are some great fights. But if we're talking like fight of the year or back and forth fight of the year, like I think it's you kind of have to put those fights in those conversations. But fight of the year, I think Zellhuber versus um, Ribovic and Orbai versus Rebeski. I think those are the ones that you kind of have to look at. Like those are some badass fights, like in a good
yeah.
way.
No, I agree. I think the Zellhuber one was the most exciting fight to watch for sure.
I don't know. I think if you watch the Orbai one back and you watch the Zellhuber one after, you're probably gonna be like you're gonna be torn. 'Cause
Well, I do
that's
remember
how
the
conflicted I
Zellhuber
am.
one was crazy for like the first 7 minutes, and then it kind of they were both just gassed for the rest of the fight.
Of course.
But I don't remember the Orabai one, so I might just be that might be me having CTE, but whatever.
His eye was shut. His eye
And he
was a
kept
balloon.
fighting.
Yeah. Remember, this is a Mongolian guy, so his eyes are already like respectfully. His eyes aren't the biggest, so when it's swollen shut like that, it looks even crazier because the other one looks like it's closed too. Obviously, the swellen's probably pushing over to the other side of his face a little bit, but naturally, like his natural traits of what he looks like, I think the aesthetics of it makes it look that much worse because of his natural physical features. So for me, watching that, I'm just like, I don't understand how this guy can see anything right now, but just showed his dog and almost came back and won the fight. I think it was a split.
Bro, he has to be related to Genghis Khan.
Probably.
If he's Mongolian and he's a UFC fighter, like the odds that he like Genghis Khan didn't like
Drop that
get
seed.
rape some poor lady in the village he conquered, and then now we have this guy.
Guy's a stud. I give him that. Guy's a stud.
The next one we got is best knockout of 2024. I feel like there's only 3 options.
What are your 3?
The head kick that Pereira landed on Yuri was crazy. I think that's most unique knockout.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best, most unique knockout crossover, I think.
I wish we could show the replay of it. I mean, we could probably show like
in
a
the clip
snippet.
we can. Not in the pod.
Okay.
But like when I edit these clips, definitely.
But in the pod, we could probably put like 3 seconds, like just the knockout part.
Probably.
I think we'd be fine.
Yeah, it would be fine.
And then Pereira, Jerry.
Yeah, like that was the craziest. Like that was like there wasn't many head kick knockouts this year, and that one being on that level, that has to be on the list. Then obviously Ilya knocking out Max, just because of what that means, and then Max knocking out Gaethje at UFC 300. That might be the best knockout of all time. So, but I'm just trying to throw some variety at you.
I mean, those are the major players. Those are the major boss ones.
Was there any other crazy shit that happened?
Was Dustin Poirier and
That was on
Saint
yeah.
Denis?
That was this year. Yeah. Also, Dennis knocking out
too.
what's his name? That was this year.
Which one?
Dennis's knockout in AC. That was in March of this year.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
Obviously, you got Hill versus Pereira. That was at 300. But that was like it was. It wasn't as cool as the other ones, I guess. But it was big in terms of like the former champion coming to try to reclaim his belt against the current champion in Pereira, and the fight going like that after all the buildup.
Pereira versus Roundtree should be fight of the year. That you just reminded me.
Fight of the year?
That has to be on that list. I'm
I mean,
taking
you can
that
put it in
fight.
there.
That fight's way more entertaining, and than Izzy versus DDP in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah, bro. What?
Well, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I guess it's because of the name value, right? Because you got Izzy, the former champion, had a long layoff to come back refreshed. The history, all the racial slurs between the two. Who's the real African, Afro-man?
Man, that shit
And
was so fucking forced.
so I think that's just Izzy's personality. Though. I don't know if he's like actually forcing it. I think he's just like that. So it's not like it's a forced thing from him where it's more like Kobe. Um,
Fair.
yeah, I don't know. But I think you could put that in there, though. I think you could put that one, Khalil, for sure.
I think that one has to be in there. But anyway, that was a tangent.
But for knockouts,
Did I miss any?
I still think it's ice cold Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. Like, I think him just taking his hand and leading him to the center, and then they go to the center and they just start slaying, and then he comes up with a three-piece combination: body, head,
Crazy.
and then he connects, he falls, and then he just.
Who do you think felt a crazier rush? Max in that moment or Conor when he knocked out Aldo in 13 seconds? Like, what peak
Max.
do you think was higher? You think?
Max? Yeah.
I don't.
Max. I mean, you could say because of the aura of Conor and everything, the build up, yes, and the fans that were all there. Because I was there, and in the not the actual arena, we were at a watch party because Weidman had fought the day before, fought against Luke Rockhold, and I had fought the day before that on Thursday when I fought Johnny Eduardo, third round submission, no big deal, hangman choke. So you go from that Weidman, and then you go to Conor versus Aldo. It was just so short that I think for you to feel something versus the Gaethje Max fight, you kind of knew who was going to win, and then he does a boss ass move like that, which is super risky, and then he ends it like that. You're just like, to me, that gets me. To me, I'm like, I'm getting ready to leave the arena, and then I see him do this because I already know the results. I see him getting ready to do this. I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me take a seat to see what's about to happen. And these guys throw down and it ends like that. You're just like, nah, that was crazy.
Nah,
that was crazy, man. The fight fan in me is just like, nah, dog. That was just ice cold. I don't think it gets any cooler than that. It just there's
Yo,
no
because
words
I
to describe that.
remember seeing for the first time like on TikTok when Max, like I saw that clip of him doing that, like where he invited the other guy to the center. I forget his name, but it was like way earlier in his career.
Lamas.
Yeah. So, and I was like, what? Like I had a visceral reaction to that clip. I was like, yo, that's the most gangster shit I've ever seen like in my entire life.
Yeah.
And then he did it against Gaethje at 300 for the BMF belt when he was already fucking up Gaethje. Or that maybe that's disrespectful. Nah, fuck it. He was fucking up Gaethje. He was clearly about to win that fight.
He was winning.
He was winning. He could have easily won. Like he could have just held that win, but then he did that, and then yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And you
I
just
still think-
fucked up Calvin Kattar, so that was even better.
For me, I still think he should have just stayed at 55. I think coming back down to 45 after that weight cut is just like, I think that actually hurt him. That's my 2 cents because he's a big dude.
He is, bro. Like he's peeled, even at 155. So
I know about peeled, but
I mean, what he doesn't have extra fat to lose at 155.
no. But when I think peeled, I'm thinking like Drew Dober, Khalil Roundtree.
Well, you're thinking like massive too. Like those are two massive dudes.
But Drew Dober's a 55er.
Fair. Actually, how the fuck is he a 55er and Max is a 55er?
Yeah.
That's
So when
two
you look at
completely different bodies.
Yeah. But he's taller than Drew Dober for sure.
That's crazy though.
What else we got?
Fighter of the year.
Pick? I picked Max versus Gaethje as my knockout of the year.
Okay.
I don't think anything tops that. Of course, the stakes of Ilya knocking out Max, that's cool as shit too. But in terms of the fashion of how it was done, I mean, don't get me wrong, Toporia's was ice cold as well. But I think the whole scene setting for how Max did it against Gaethje is just like I don't know if that ever be topped. I think that's gonna be the
Nah.
coolest knockout for like all eternity.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, and John Jones versus Stipe, that was a knockout too.
That's not even on the list though.
I mean that spinning back kick that breaks
Actually,
your bones. That puts you in the hospital. You're pissing blood for a couple of days probably. Probably a couple of days.
bro,
Yeah.
that was vicious. It's just not the same as like Pereira's shutting his lights off with his fucking shin, or
Of
like
course.
Max fucking doing that shit.
It just came back to my mind, so I was like,
Yeah, that's probably on the top 10 list, top 7. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Max too. I think.
yeah.
I think.
I thought
Yeah.
you would have stuck with Pereira versus Jiri.
Honestly, like I think I'm a little jaded by Pereira at this point because like I just know he's gonna knock out the other guy when he's fighting. I just like it's the safest bet any night. Any night he's fighting, that's the safest bet. Pereira by knockout. So
Not by decision, not by leg humping.
no, that would be you. I like that we can joke. I like I can
Listen,
say that shit to you.
you
Also,
gotta
it's
win by
because
all costs, man.
I mean, yeah,
I'm here to win.
I mean, it's worked for you.
Trust me. If I had confidence in my punching power, like if I had ever once done it, where I'm like, yo, I laid that guy out. I know, I just need to touch this dude, and he's sleeping. I would do the same thing standing that I do in the ground, because in the ground I just know, like, bro, if I get here, you're done. I mean, there's just no qualms about it. Like I just know what's about to happen. Like I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I could write you the story script of how this ends. But if I could do that, like standing, like getting the confidence, like from the room, even though I don't really train to knock out training partners, like I never really, like really try to starch guys. Like that's never been my thing. There's only one time I had an incident at Syndicate MMA, with some guy. He was just kind of an asshole though, but he deserved it. And man, we were trying to rip each other's heads off, like just swinging haymakers at each other. But
Word.
that's another story. I'm generally a nice guy, but when you're kind of a dick, you're a dick. And to make me get mad like that, bro, it takes a lot. So
You know what's funny?
you had to been doing something pretty stupid.
I see Marab get mad like that every time I see him like train. Like someone pisses him off and he just starts fucking them up.
You know, I think if it's like a guy who's not very well known or that good, if they do anything good, he's just like, nah, I gotta end you. He's like, I'm trying stuff and I'm just working. And if you start like trying to get the better of him, he's just like, nah, son, I staple my flag right here. This is my home, and I will defend this throne. That's
Well,
Marab.
But he looks visibly mad. Like if someone lands
yeah.
something on Marab, he turns red. Like and then he just starts fucking wailing on like a newbie at Syndicate MMA. It's the funniest thing ever. It shouldn't be
Yo.
funny, but it's hilarious.
Listen, I'm impartial in this because, or should I say, I can sense both sides because as the guy who's working with you, the younger guy who has no name, no credibility, I'm giving you the opportunity to work with me, and then you come out, you trying to like do some crazy shit. Nah, son, I can't allow that. But then I'm also like, as the older guy, I should teach you versus trying to smash you. So there's a little bit of both. There could be like, I can smash you, but not try to kill you, but still smash you enough so that you remember this, and then you know, don't do that again.
Word.
So I don't know. It's a little bit of both for me.
Breakout
I've been
fighter.
on both sides of the spectrum. As a young guy, getting the better of the veteran when I was 21 and full of cum.
Hey, yo, bro, what the fuck?
That's a Joe Benavidez line.
But I didn't
Shout
need
out Joe
that.
Benavidez, Joey B.
I didn't need that.
Well, I'm just trying to explain to you. I
have
was young,
AirPods
21.
and that went right to my fucking ear.
I was full of like testosterone, you know. So
That's
as
but
a
you
young
could have
bull,
said that
as a young bull trying to get that bull out, you know, you're trying to no homo. You're trying
to a
to.
guy.
Nah, I'm just trying to show him my testosterone.
So you're
but
telling
not
me like
that.
when you're sweating on the ground with a dude, your thought is I'm trying to get my nut out right now.
No. My thought is I'm trying to show my testosterone.
I'm trying to. Yeah, that's a little homo erotic.
Showing my testosterone, showing my muscles.
When you're sweating on the floor with a dude, I just think that type of thought process is a little gay.
Wallahi, you are gay.
Yeah, that's crazy. You just said
Nah.
full of cum.
Yeah, when I was 21, young.
Yo, who filled you up, bro?
When I was young, 21, and full of steam. You know what I mean?
You just said I was filled up with cum.
Yeah, I was filled. My
You
system.
got filled up? You got
My
filled
system was filled.
You were filled?
My system was filled to the brim.
Who filled your system?
I was raging. I was a raging bull.
Yo, if someone filled me up, I would be raging too. That would piss me off.
Yeah, that's the thing. You shouldn't let no one fill you up because that's just weird.
But you're telling me someone had you filled.
No, I never once said those words. Never came out of my mouth.
That's the
I said
way it
when
came
I was
across.
young, and 21, and full of steam. Yeah, I
You
mean,
said full of cum.
yeah.
So
'cause
I'm
I was
asking,
not,
how
not
did it get there?
It was my body. My body makes it. I'm 21.
Someone took your body?
You might not have experienced this yet because you just might not have experienced what it's like to just be extra
doing
manly
good.
and just want to just be.
I'm doing good. Like, I don't need to tell you my numbers right now, but I'm putting
I
up.
don't want to tell you my numbers, especially
I'm
at
putting
21.
up. I'm putting up LeBron numbers on the daily. Just whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's the Funk Harbor talking.
I forget what we were talking about now. Oh, when I was young and 21 and I was a bull, bro, you think different. Like you think you're invincible. You think you could take everybody. You size everybody up. That's just what men do. That's what boys do until you become a man and you understand how the world works when someone checks your shit. And you're like, okay, I understand. I get it now. There are levels and there's a hierarchy. I must climb the hierarchy. That's it.
I have not been humbled yet, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, you have. It's on Marab posted it on your TikTok actually. You posted it.
I posted it.
When you spar with
I'm
Marab,
saying
he
like
humbled you.
I'm on a crazy generational run right now of
He's
success.
like, you got Marab, who's like half your size. You spar with him, he humbles you really quickly in a matter of like 15 seconds.
Was it you who posted it on your story when Marab took like a minute and a half to take me down?
Oh, that was in the living room.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And Al's done that before too, and it took him a while as well. I'm just saying, never wrestled in my life.
Yeah,
UFC
good thing you didn't try
champion.
that shit with me, cause just saying.
Okay, Pipsqueak.
All
Little
right,
man.
you remember your words.
Yeah, I could hold
People in the comments remember these words because when there's a video of this, we're gonna flash back to this end of the year and we're gonna be like, yeah, he deserved it. He called himself. He called for that one.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I held my hand out and like had it on your forehead, you wouldn't be able to do anything. You would just be like swinging and missing, like it's Tom and Jerry.
All right, let's get a couple things straight. One, your hand would never be rested on my forehead. Two, you can never hold me back with just your hand on my forehead.
You guys see how he's taking me seriously right now?
And three, once you miss with that hand trying to extend to my forehead, I'll be on your back like Nightcrawler. And you don't even know who Nightcrawler is.
If I get my hand on my forehead, that's moral victory enough. That if you do take my back, I already won. Like,
I guess.
by my standards. Like, I shouldn't even be able to do that.
I guess.
Just like I shouldn't be able to fuck you up in basketball, but I do. But whatever.
What's the next topic?
Breakout fighter / rookie of the year. Like, who? It doesn't have to be a rookie because I don't even know, like, what is a
Carlos
rookie?
Prates.
I couldn't agree more.
Either him or Gene Silva.
Who's the motherfucker who's, like, Brazilian, but he fights just like Conor McGregor?
Mauricio, Rufy something. He was supposed to fight Charlie Campbell, my teammate.
He's good too.
He's good, but I wouldn't call him breakout fighter of the year. I would give that to either Diego Lopez, Carlos Prates, or Gene Silva, who also fights at 45.
Okay, if Diego Lopez is still in that conversation, because I feel like he's on that fine line.
He debuted last year, right?
He debuted in 2023, but he had like one fight.
No, he had two.
He had two fights in 2023, and then like, but his breakout.
Okay, so then he's not in.
This year,
he's not in,
right?
Yeah, so he's not in for 2024. So
it
then
has
for
to
me,
be,
it's Carlos
it has to be
Prates.
your first year.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah, then definitely Carlos Prates, I think.
And I think if it's your first year, your first calendar year, Not well, your first 12 months. I don't want to say calendar year because if you debuted in December, then it's just like someone could have debuted in January and then fought again 2 more times, and then they technically have the leg up. So you kind of have to look at a 12-month span, in my opinion, just to make it fair to keep the scales balanced out.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I
I say
think
Carlos
definitely.
Prates.
Yeah, I agree. He's a beast.
My man's out here smoking ciggies on the day of the fight, going out there and making guys say good night. It's just crazy. I tell you one thing, the boy knows how to fight. Bars. Thank you, Chael Sonnen.
Yo, why don't you just vape the day of the fight and post it? I think like you'd get more viral.
But then if I lose, they'll say, "Oh, you lost because you're vaping, dude. You don't take your career serious." I'm like, "You don't take your career serious
I mean,
because if you did, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. You'd be working on your craft instead of commenting that I'm not taking my career serious."
what if
I'm
I
just saying.
say what if I say you're not taking your career serious? Like what would you say to me? Cuz you can't say I'm not taking my career serious. I'm taking my career very serious.
I mean, I could say you chose laziness.
Oh, that's crazy.
I could say that, but we won't even talk about that.
So we both agree it's Carlos Prates. All right.
I don't know anybody. Like, I don't have a list of names. I know the UFC posted something, right?
But if they don't pop up right away, then I don't think they should be on the list. Like you should it should come like he comes right to mind.
The only thing is that there's just so many fights and fighters.
Yeah, but that guy made a name for himself this year and he's like new on the scene.
What do you think about this one that I just sent you? Fight of the
I don't
year.
follow this account, so I can't see it.
You don't follow this account. 2024 debuts. Carlos Prates out of this list stands out the most. Bektik, Alejandro, but not all these guys have winning records. So, um, yeah, Gene Silva is the next one that comes to mind. Connor Matthews, Danny Silva, Kayla Harrison. She did pretty good too, but I think in the style points that Carlos Prates' one still trumps her.
You can't really say Kayla like she didn't break out this year. She broke out in the UFC, but everyone already knew her.
Not really.
I mean, in the
You got
fight
you got to
world.
remember, like a lot of fans don't really watch the other promotions, and that's why they're casuals.
I mean,
Mauricio
I didn't watch
Rufy.
her in PFL, but I knew who she was.
Yeah, it is for sure.
It's Prates.
Prates, yeah.
I mean, that's just to me that's obvious. Like we both thought of him.
And they got that Chinese guy Zhang Mingyang. He's pretty good too.
Bro, there's no
But I just
China
don't think
man.
as smooth as Prates has been. And then Prates just has aura, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
He broke out. Like he's a star.
yeah, Prates has aura.
I don't think he's champion material though.
Prates?
Yeah.
Based on what?
I mean, he had a pretty close fight in his last one, right? And it's like he's fighting guys who he should be beating.
I mean, he beat Neil Magny, who's a pretty big name veteran.
Am I thinking of someone else right now?
But did you check the one I sent you?
No, I couldn't. It won't load. It won't.
Oh,
It says
won't
post
load.
unavailable.
Why is it unavailable? On IG?
Yeah.
That's super weird.
Yeah, they're all unavailable. All right.
Are there any fight announcements yet?
Like
Like good ones?
Chandler versus Patty Pimblett was a big one.
I heard that was false. Patty Pimblett tweeted. He said this guy is a shill or something like that.
Bro, honestly, that guy is like he posts a lot of bullshit.
Well, he posted 3 different opponents that Patty Pimblett was fighting.
Well, dude, I don't know why, but that guy's tweets are always on my feed, and I always read them, and I'm like, this is not true at all. Like, I don't know why he's tweeting this. and some of his tweets are true, and then a lot of them are not true. So Patty's definitely right. But I wasn't done. I had another crack. I had another 2025 thing.
Who? Well, I mean, what?
So I want you to predict 3 fighters that are going to be champions in 2025, that are going to become champions in 2025. I'll start.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Aljamain Sterling,
That's a tough one.
Conor
But
McGregor, and Jake Paul.
Yeah.
The first
Well,
one
we'll
was
start-
true. The second 2 were also true. Fuck it.
No, the first one, I would need to have a crazy. I would need to have a crazy year just because I lost that last one in a razor thin fight.
I think Sean Shelby probably thinks he won.
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to see him to actually ask him and see what his thoughts are. I don't know. I'm just glad Hunter liked the fight. Dana said good things about the fight too, so that puts me in a good spot at least. He didn't give me the Volkov treatment like we'll make it right kind of a thing, because I don't think I got robbed, but I also don't. I just don't feel like I lost. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's like I'm like, bro, you look worse than I do. So how is it that I don't know? You held him down for 3 minutes and you didn't throw any punches, and he was throwing damage. I'm like, at what point was he using damage in the third round? I don't know. I mean, I would imagine slamming somebody on the head, it should be enough for damage.
It was this little shit that he was doing.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember that in the third round. I remember that in the second round. He was
just doing it right at the end, and I was like,
oh, when I was trying to reverse him,
yeah.
and then he was landing. Like, I guess I don't know.
I was like, yo, they're gonna score that as damage, and it's like doing nothing at all.
But to me, it goes. You count those strikes more value than me slamming him literally on his face. I don't know. I'm like, it is what it is, because it's gonna make me sound like I'm salty. It's not salt. It's just I'm trying to understand so that I could be better. That's all I want to do is be better for the next time, so I know what I need to do. Like the guy froze my hands whenever I got to a good position where I can advance. So I'm like, okay, I can't punch him. If I pull my hands and rip them out, he gets out. I'm like, so what do you want me to do? The only reason he was even able to throw any punches in the third round was because I tried to get up. If I stayed on guard for 1 minute and 30 seconds and just tied up his arms, I conflict with myself on that, because I go, I could have just laid on my back for 1 minute and 30 seconds. He would have done no damage, and would I have won the round then? You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's a catch-22. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I just want to understand. So when I'm doing drills and when I'm in another fight, when I'm in that situation, I know I've been here before. I know what I need to do. I know how to win. You know, so I just thought me hustling to get up showed that I wanted to. I was pushing the fight. I was the one creating the action. So I thought that was enough for me to win. I don't know. So I don't know, because we get this black and white thing, and then they come up with all these gray areas of how they score fights. So we don't actually know. We just have to go by how they score fights, and then for our fights, we go, well, they scored it like this last time, so hopefully they score it like this again. And it's just such a weird situation for fighters to be in general, because, yeah, we just don't know. That's all I'm saying about it. But with that said, I would need to win one to get back in that bracket and then fight another top 5 guy. And I just don't know if that would be enough time to do it, and then turn around and then fight for a title at the end of 2025. That would just be a really hectic schedule. It's definitely doable, but we'll see. I got to start with the first one and then kind of go from there.
Somebody, anything could happen.
Of course, someone could get hurt. I could step up.
Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I remember Michael Bisping stepped up. He was ranked like 13th or 14th and fought Luke Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice, knocked him out in the first round, became champ. You know, crazy things happen all the time, so you just never know. It's just the right time, the right opportunity, and being semi-ready to go. Word. You know, so that's what I'm focused on right now, in my health and everything. The next one you said, Conor. I don't know if Conor's ever fighting again. That's just my personal opinion.
I was bullshitting.
In the UFC, no, I know it was definitely cheek and tongue, but I just would like to see him fight again. I just don't think he will. Based on what I'm seeing, he's posting all these clips of him training, and they look good. I'm just like, bro, we want to see you back in there. But
Actually,
the
bro,
way
can we?
things have been going, it's like I don't know.
Those clips to me look terrible.
You think so?
Bro, what
Not the one
about
with
that?
him in the bag. The one with him in the bag, I'm kind of like, that's like whatever. But the one with him grappling with that tall, lanky dude, that was pretty good. The guy had no wrestling whatsoever, but um, he showed some good passing skills, good controlling, and he was able to finish 2 submissions, which I thought was like that's pretty solid. If I'm looking at it objectively, I think.
But that's like that. Remember when you had your camp with TJ, and he posted a clip of him like slamming one of his training partners,
yeah,
and everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna fuck Aljo up," and then it's like, who the fuck like is that guy? Same thing with the Jan rematch. Jan
yeah,
posted a clip in Bali or something of him like
Thailand.
grappling some massive guy, and everyone was like, "Oh, Aljo's cooked." And then I showed it to you and Rob, and you guys were like, "Yeah, but who the fuck is that guy? Like, no one like he
I'm
could be
like,
anybody."
muscles don't mean shit. That's why we were trying
Exactly.
to tell Bradley Martin. It was like, yo, bro, what are you talking about, dude? You're 260 doesn't mean shit to guys that actually know what they're doing. Like, you come to a mat or you do that in a street fight, as long as he doesn't grab me first where I can't get my legs on the ground and it throws me over his head. And even then, it might be really hard for him to do something like that just because of our understanding of technique, gravity, positioning, um, center of gravity, like all that, knowing how to deflect. It's still going to be really hard for a big guy to do that. But if he fell on me, yeah, I'm probably getting squished. That 260 is probably squishing my little ass.
Yeah, that would hurt, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
but I don't think Connor's coming back. I want him to. I just don't think it's going to happen. Hopefully he does. It would be nice to see him compete one more time to Connor show. And I just don't know who it would be against. I know he's now talking about boxing again. So it's like, damn, bro, we want you back in the UFC. We want you to bring some energy back into the UFC, some life, some shit talk, some good commentary on the press conference. It'd be fun. Um, and then the last one, Jake Paul, is just not happening.
no. But wait, who are your if you had to predict 3 fighters who will become champion in the UFC in 2025, who are they?
I could see Manel Kopp at 125. Dude, he's just a super fun fighter to watch. He's very well rounded. His ground game might not be as good as his stand up, but he's very well rounded. If he can keep the fight standing long enough, he's clean enough where I think he actually gives Pantoja a run for his money. I know he's got a fight coming up in March 1st, main event. He balled out in Tampa, I think co-main event or the one right before Cub Swanson, and Cub Swanson versus Billy Q was a crazy knockout. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about that.
True, that just happened.
That was, but Manel Cop, 35. We got 45. I don't know what Topuria is doing, so
No, just
um,
new champions.
no, of course. But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what he's doing. So if it's still him, I just don't see no one. Like I don't know if Mosar's beating him. He has a good style to give him problems, but I think ultimately in the end, I think Topuria still, in my opinion, would still win,
Okay.
unless he got tired. Because he did look like he got tired in one of his fights with Yusuf Zalal, and then he had to resort to his wrestling and was able to control him. Then you got at 55 Islam. I don't know if there's any newcomers beating him. 70. Oh, Arman Shayukin, I think has a very great potential for an upset in January, and that's just based on how he looked when he fought Islam the first time, how he's looked over the years growing, and he was only 22. He's a man now, so I just think potential fighters to become champs. I think it's him. Potential for 2025. 70. I don't see anyone beating Bilal. Not right now. Not for. I don't think Shavkat gets it done. Respectfully, of course. I just think Bilal is just well rounded enough that he could kind of keep him at bay just based on that Ian Gary fight. I think that gave us a lot of questions regarding him, and I think it answered a lot of questions as well. But in terms of the matchup, I think there's a lot of things that we can now kind of pinpoint who's better at what. And Bilal's not getting tired. He's got a gas tank for days. And then 85, Duplessis, that fight with him, I think Strickland takes the belt back. Carlos Prats, can he? Even if he did get to the belt, I don't know if he's beaten Bilal. And then you have 205. I mean, can Jamal Hill get it done and take out Pereira? Who else is at 205? There's not a lot of new blood at 205. Carlos Oberg is pretty damn good. And then you
Ankalaev?
have heavyweight. Who's it?
Ankalaev?
Uncle Life. I forgot about. How did I keep forgetting about this guy? It's so weird to forget about him.
He's so
And
inactive.
It's not intentionally. I can see Uncle Life becoming champion 2025. I can see that.
I
And
think if
then-
anyone's gonna beat Pereira, it's either him or Hill.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, we know with Hill, if he gets hit again like that cleanly, obviously, I think Pereira takes it because the guy just seems like he has just magic in his fingers, in his fists.
Pause.
And then I know Hill, when he connects, he puts guys out. And then, so that's just the heavyweight recipe right there, light heavyweight. And then heavyweight, I think Tommy Aspinall. I don't foresee John sticking around much longer. I think he does one more fight, whether it's against Pereira or Tommy Aspinall. But I think at some point, Tommy Aspinall will become the undisputed champion, whether it's for a vacant title or not, at heavyweight.
All right, so you got Manel Kopp. Who's the other one?
Ankalaev,
Ankalaev. And Aspinall.
Tommy Aspinall.
Wasn't there another?
And Arman Shoyukin.
Armin. All right. I like those predictions.
Yeah, I think those are good fights. I'm not saying like these guys kill their opponents, but so I know people are gonna take these clips and they're gonna go, "Oh, he thinks he's gonna beat you. He's better than you." Then I'm gonna see all the Dagestani guys. They're gonna think I hate them. I'm like, yo, just because I gave a prediction does not mean it's true. And two, just because I gave a prediction does not mean I don't like you. I'm
But
just
yo,
giving a
hold up.
prediction based on the matchup.
You just
That's
said you
it.
thought
The same
Uncle
way
Ive
they
was
give
going to be a
predictions.
champion. So that's pro Dagestani.
Who?
Uncle Ive, he's Dagestani.
Oh yeah.
So like
But still,
they can't even say
but
shit.
I feel they get weird about stuff like that, but then they do it, and then they expect no criticism when they do it. But it's just like, I don't understand, man. You can't beat a pot calling the kettle black. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You're doing the same exact thing. So how do you get mad at somebody else for doing the same exact thing respectfully? I'm not saying these guys are gonna knock you out or he's gonna whoop his ass. I just think because of the first fight, I think Arman has a really good chance of getting the upset. And I think anyone with a logical brain could see that. He can wrestle his ass off. And I think he's more primed than he was before. He's got knockout power, knocked out Benil Dariush. Had a crazy fight with Gamrot, and a close fight, which he lost, I think was a split. And he killed Joel Alvarez, who just had a crazy knockout recently. Like, the guy is good. This guy's good.
I don't know. I definitely could see Armin. How crazy would it be if Armin beat Islam?
It'd be nuts.
And then Merab beats Umar.
There would be a lot of tears, bro. A lot of tears.
I
And
hate to
all
say
I'm
it, but
gonna say
I
is
just hope that happens.
Be humble. All I'm gonna say is be humble. The same way you a lot of their fan base, and I'm not saying Islam and these guys are inciting this, but a lot of their fan base, they can be very toxic, which I do not understand because your religion is supposed to be about respect, but then you're very toxic to the competitors. And it's like, if you love the sport, you love the athletes, you love what we do, then show your respect. You could be pro-Islam, pro-Umar, and still show respect for their opponents. Like, you don't got to be a douchebag about it.
Yeah.
Leave that to the Americans.
I'm a hater.
Leave that to us. That's what we do, baby.
I'm a hater. I hope the Dagestanis lose their throne. I'm tired of seeing them just fucking kill everybody.
But are they really killing everybody?
I mean, they're like on a crazy streak right now. But
yeah, but they're not. But if they
I
were
also
like
just hate the
bulldoze
favoritism.
everybody-
Like, Umar should not be getting a title shot right now. Like, he shouldn't even have fought Corey. But he has the same last name as Khabib.
I blame Corey for that. It was a great fight. Like, Corey gave all he could, but at the same time, Corey earned his spot. If I'm Corey, I'm like, you need to pay me well more than enough to compensate me to give up my position where I'm almost guaranteed to be next in line for a title shot. For me to take a fight with a guy who's ranked, I think, 13th or 14th at the time. Doesn't make any sense. It's too high risk, very low reward. Where's my upside?
Yeah.
Bragging rights to say I beat a Nurmagomedov? Okay, cool.
I mean,
Okay.
that would be gangster, and then he could like demand hella when he fights for a title. But
It
I
don't
think
work like
I
that
don't know.
though.
He thought he was that guy, and he just wasn't.
But I respect the confidence, but I
I do
do think
too.
it was short sighted. I think his management should have urged, unless he, like I said, unless he was getting a crazy bag thrown at him, there was no upside in that fight for him. Because even if he won and he said, I'm next in line for a title shot, it's going to be, oh, you just beat number 13, number 14. Like, that's how. Maybe I'm talking too much. And I don't want to be
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to be the
chill.
guy that people were saying like you don't do
I'll
yourselves any
say it.
favor. I'm just
I'll
letting the
say it.
people know it
I'll
doesn't
say
work
it.
like that.
They
I'll
can kick
leave it
me
at
out.
that.
They already kicked me out of the back room. They can kick me out of anything. But yeah, they're manipulative as fuck. They're gonna if he did beat Umar, they would just tell Umar or they would just tell him like, you didn't beat anybody good. Like he wasn't even in the top 5.
The ultimate cop out. I'm just saying,
But they,
put the
they
glass
just
on
it's the
the shoe on both feet and look how it presents itself.
you kind of
It's
have to
just common sense.
you have to be a manipulative and slimy to run the UFC.
Uh,
I'm gonna say it. You don't have to back. You can. That's me. That's not Aljo's opinion.
I don't know.
I'll take that part
I
out.
think they do what's good for their business. That's what I would say that they do what's good for their business and their shareholders.
But
So
can
I get
you?
that aspect of it.
Is it good business to create ill will with everybody you do business with?
But see, it's double edged sword, right? Because yeah, it could be looked at as ill will, but it's also an opportunity. And if you win by taking that gamble and you win that opportunity, it's like the bet we were just talking about. You flip a coin for 5 million to flip it to a 5 million, and if you don't get it, you lose it all, or would you just keep the million? You know what I mean? So you take that opportunity, and that could catapult into something crazy, or you just get stuck with the bat holding the bag and you just look like an asshole with egg on your face and everyone's calling you an idiot or talking shit to you online. So it's like the risk versus reward. And like I said, I'm not Corey. Corey is a better man than me because he accepted the fight. If I was in that position myself and I know I'm going to get flagged, oh, this is why, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you're just stupid because this is about money. This is about the title. You get the title, you get the bag. I don't give a shit about beating some guy who's barely ranked when I busted my ass to get here, fought for an interim title. I know what it feels like to be in championship fights, and you're going to try to tell me what it's about? That don't make no sense. I don't go to your job and tell you you should keep working 8, 12-hour, 15-hour shifts and not ask for a rate. Like, what are you talking about? And then some new guy comes in and takes your job because he looks shiny and pretty, and he hasn't done anything yet other than what you heard about. That's all I'm saying.
And I can
And
guarantee
again,
that Corey did not get the bag to fight Umar.
I guarantee he didn't either, and only he would know that in him as management. So respect
Nah,
to him
but
again for
I know
taking
what
the
other
fight.
guys have gotten. I know what other guys. I know the bag other guys are getting to fight Umar, and they're in a better position than Corey. So I know Corey didn't get the bag to fight Umar.
Again, if I'm Corey, I'm again. You can't go back in time, right? Hindsight's 2020. He took a chance. He rolled the dice. Respect to him for that. I've done that before. I took a chance. I rolled the dice, taking the O'Malley fight on relatively short notice for a title after going through a 5-round war, after cutting crazy amounts of weight, after having my legs slammed to shit. Like, I could go on and talk about this over and over from experience. So from a Corey standpoint, I respect the gamble. But when you come up short, it is what it is. You can't say anything about it because you decided to sign the contract. I'm just speaking if I were him after going through my experience and I'm now in his position,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that because there's no upside for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if he had won, he would be the absolute man. And maybe he would have gotten the title shot, or maybe, depending on how the fight went, they probably would have said, hey, buddy, you beat the number 13, 14 ranked guy. This other guy's ranked higher than you. This one looks like it can make more money for us. They're not going to say all that, but they're going to say, we're going in another direction. And that's just the way the business works, and there's nothing you could do about it. What are you going to do? You're going to tell the bosses that you demand, like, what are you going to do? And I'm just calling it straight how it is, you know? And people can either respect that or they could come up with their own opinion. Again, when you're in this sport, We started to fight because we wanted money. We wanted respect, we wanted honor, and we wanted money. Oh, you don't have any honor because you faked the knee and you could have kept fighting. Yeah, you're a fucking dumbass because you have no idea how I fucking felt. So we're not going down that road again. I got the honor, I got the respect, I got the money. So those are the things that we fight for. So in a position like Corey, I just don't think the risk was worth the juice was worth the squeeze, in my personal opinion. I wish he would have let them force somebody else in the top five to take the fight. Maybe a Rob Font, maybe a Piotr Jan,
Yeah.
maybe a Song Yadong, maybe a Chito Vera. Anybody.
Well, that's what's annoying about the UFC is it's like they always have somebody who will do what they want.
Exactly.
If you won't do it, fine, Corey will. You know, they offered Merab that fight before Corey fought him, and Merab said no. So it's like, oh, okay, fine, we'll give this opportunity to someone else. And
Yeah, but
if
is
everybody
it really
just
an
like
opportunity?
no, but that's how they flex it.
No, of course.
So
But
it's like
I'm just speaking. So I want the fans to understand this. That people who are the viewers that are watching or listening, like when you break it down, isn't an actual opportunity because an opportunity is something that gives you all the upside. But if you can't point out what that upside is it really an opportunity? That's all I want fighters and management to understand. If they have your best interest, if you as a fighter have your best interest in mind, I'm not saying go ducking fights left and right. I'm saying if a fight doesn't make sense based on where you are in your career, I'm not saying Corey shouldn't have fought the number 5, 6, 7th, or 8th, maybe even the ninth guy. But for him to go fight someone who had no ranked opponents whatsoever, and somehow he's ranked 14th, for you to go fight that guy when you are probably a shoe in for a fallout for a title shot or a shoe in to get the next title shot, why are you gambling when you have the bag in hand versus the two birds? Like a bird in hand versus two birds in the bush. Like it, I just can't make sense of it.
to hit,
And
I think the only upside was like he could prove like I stand on business, which is like cool.
cool.
Take that to the bank though.
Ooh, I stand on business. It's just like yo,
But it's like,
like
bro, like
I
even if Corey wins that fight and like he gets a little extra like leverage, it's like the UFC gets like what does the UFC get? It's like they get their guy pretty much right there for a title. They get their guy a title shot who they're gonna make way more than Corey would ever make off of Umar's name.
as they should, as the owners, as they should. I
Yeah,
get that.
no, but it's like here you instead of 300,000, we'll give you 350,000. And if this guy beats you, which we think he will, we're gonna make 50 million. And you're gonna be like crying in Colorado in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's like fucked up, bro. Like it's just they get what they want all the time. That's what bothered me so much about when O'Malley beat you. I was like, bro, these motherfuckers always get what the fuck they want and like they just burn everything they touch and they fuck everybody over and it's like that was what was heartbreaking to me. Like these motherfuckers got their way. Like
It is what it is, man. Like I said, I took the chance. I rolled the dice.
yeah, but like
I don't know how I went from saying no 4 or 5 times to finally saying yes. I caved.
oh, I could tell you how.
What?
But I mean, I know like I was there when I don't even want to say this on camera.
Okay. And honestly, Funk Harbor was a big. Like its release was supposed to be before the fight,
Yeah.
before Jamaican Independence Day, and that was like another reason where I was kind of like, okay, maybe I could use this opportunity for more ways than one, getting exposure, making a little bit of an extra pay bump, and hopefully the pay-per-view numbers do what they say it was going to do, and then that's honestly that's worth the squeeze. But then when all those things kind of crashed and burned in the 11th hour, you're just kind of like, oh, this sucks. This wasn't. I should have just went on vacation like I said I was, healed
That's
my
what I'm-
ass up, and then came back ready to go.
Like, but so, you knew that, and like somehow they just get it's. I'm not saying anything. Like, they do this to everybody. I've noticed. They just guys will say no, 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 and then somehow they just know how to like manipulate guys into doing what they want.
It is what it is.
It happens to everybody. It's annoying. Like they just know how to
All I'm saying, sorry guys for the long tangent. So I just want to make sure my points are clear. Corey had a very good positioning to fight for a title where he would have been guaranteed a pay bump. He would have been guaranteed a chance to win a UFC title, which then if he wins, that's an opportunity to gamble on where now he gets pay-per-view points. His pay bump now goes up again. He gets the notoriety. He gets new opportunities, business deals, versus taking an opportunity to fight a guy who's relatively unknown in the States, not Khabib, his cousin, relatively unknown. And respectfully, I'm not saying this with any type of malicious intent or whatsoever. I'm just speaking on facts. You had a really good positioning and you rolled the dice for something that was unforeseen of what you would have got additional to your upside in your positioning. And that's all I'm saying. And if I were him, after going through the series of events that I've been through in my career, because I'm now educated, now more smarter, I just wouldn't make that same mistake twice. So, with that said, again, kudos to him to taking a chance. He looked great round one, kind of fizzled out and got tired. And that's the name of the game. If you get tired, man, no matter what, technique goes out the window. So all the great stuff he was doing in round one kind of just changed in the later rounds. And you could kind of tell the tempo and the momentum and the confidence of Umar started to grow. And he looked better and better with each round. That's all I'm saying about that. So I don't even know how we even got on this topic, but I just think
like
you got to take the opportunities like anything in life. So I hope this is a very good talking point for outside of fighting, just in life in general. If you have a chance to do something, guys, please take the opportunity because you never know what's next. And I'm not saying that, yeah, Sandhagen should have taken that chance because that's not an opportunity that upsides him where he could point out the upsides. If you have a potential upside that you can see and map out where it takes you potentially, that is worth the risk. Versus if you don't know where this thing might take you, what's behind Pandora's box or what's behind mystery door number 1 or number 2 or number 3, and you go that direction, taking a gamble when you're in a very great position already in life, probably not the best opportunity to do something like that, to pivot. But if you have something that presents yourself, you just never know, especially if you're looking for change, you're looking for something else. You have to, life is about risk, life is about opportunities, but it's also about calculated risk. Smart opportunities, not just going out there and just taking something because someone tells you this looks like a good idea. And I hope that people can take the rationale from us saying this, and from myself, I'm speaking from experience. So I hope people can understand what I'm saying with saying this and reason with me, and could take part what I'm saying and actually use it for something good in your life. So hopefully that doesn't fall on deaf ears and. Understand, I'm not crying for Corey. I don't give two shits. But if he were to have asked me my opinion, this is exactly what I would have told him. Like, I'm not an asshole. But if he asked me for my opinion, that's what I would have told him. And it is what it is. So, that's it.
2024.
Oh, that was such a sad way to end.
Yeah. What the?
And 2025 is bringing nothing but happiness and joy. So I hope you guys are ready for a very beautiful New Year's. Guys, I'm going to be here. I finally started training again. I came back from El Salvador, got to jump on the mats with Marab and the boys. Got some training in, a little bit of light sparring. Had a little shoulder tweak just to give you guys an update on where I'm at. I've hurt my labrum before. I had surgery on this shoulder. I've had my labrum done. I've had my bicep tendon done. I've had partial tear in my elbow, in the tricep, partial tear in my bicep tendon. I've had wrist surgery in 2 different spots, and I've had a hernia repair, and I've had a neck surgery. So thankfully, the shoulder from after seeing the ortho, we're all fine. Just need some PT, so I'm gonna be doing that. Make sure I double up on my exercises, getting myself geared up so I can help Marab finish out his camp strong. And then from there, I can start my own training camp, getting ready for any short notice opportunity or quick. I don't want to say short notice because like 2 weeks and something like that. I'm not going to do that unless it makes sense. But if there is something that comes up that's going to be like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that I could do within reason if I'm in shape, I'm more than game to do something like that. That's what I've been doing my whole career until I got a little bit too big for 135 and that weight cut was just death. Then today I hit pads with Mateus. Really good training session, 45 minutes hard with this guy. some really good drills, and we got to have some really good flow, which was fun. And that was fun, man. So I feel like I'm just happy to be back on the mats, be back training. There's nothing I would rather do on this planet, this earth, than training. I'm a lifelong martial artist, and we got to hit a couple of accounts for Funk Harbor. Got a couple places in the Venetian Hotel, flight, flight. What is it called? Flight. Shit, I forgot the name of it. But it's a dart bar. Flight
Oh,
Club.
fire.
Flight Club USA. They got a whole bunch of darts like set up throughout the whole building. It's like I think they said it was like 16,000 square feet of
Oh, wow.
space. It's a crazy bar, bro. It's huge. In the Venetian Hotel, that was cool. So
That
they're
sounds
picking
sick.
us up. I'm super pumped about that. In Pinky's at the Flamingo Hotel, they're picking us up. And then another account we hit today called Flight at Planet Hollywood. They're gonna be picking us up. We're in Lee's Discount Liquor Stores, so we are rolling. We're working on the international distribution. Hopefully, we can get to Canada, Mexico, and hopefully the UK sooner than later. And of course, my I don't want to say my home country. 'Cause I'm technically born here in the States, but my motherland country of Jamaica. Definitely got to get there and do some events out there, give back to the community, and maybe do some charity work down there as well. So hopefully we have some vlogs up so you guys can tune in to watch the El Salvador trip. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, we'll get those
Jake,
up
you
soon.
got anything coming up?
Big year ahead. Just trying to get some money this year.
We're just trying to get the money, baby. I know people are like, oh, life's not only about the money. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not only, but it's primarily.
It's primarily about the money when you live in the States. If you want to have a good life, you want to do fun things with your friends, you need the money.
I
You want
like.
to travel the world
It's
and
more
see other
like.
cultures, you need money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want nice shit. I want my parents to retire, and like, I want houses. I want freedom. I want to live like you're living, without you paying
how
for
am I
me to
living?
live that way.
How am I living?
Because I was living like you when you were paying for everything I was doing, but now I'm on my own. So
Sometimes the birds gotta leave the nest,
I want to be the Aljo of my family. So I have to get some money this year. You're an adjective now. I want to be like an Aljo.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I don't feel like we do anything that crazy, and then I talk to my friends when I come back or when I go somewhere, and they're like, "Yo, man, we can't keep up with you. Where you at this time? Where were you guys?" I'm just like, "Damn, is that really what people like when they see stuff that we post and things like? Is that really like the thoughts that come to mind?" But then again, I guess I don't think about how little I did before I got to this position
Mm-hmm.
when I was working the stock room at Zara trying to fight, and I told my manager, my boss, that I need another day so I could cut weight, and he fired me. And I ended up going to the fight, made weight. I won, first round submission in like a minute and a half,
What
and
the
then I got
fuck?
signed after that. So it's just kind of crazy. And then I went back to that store, and I saw the guy, and he was like very happy to see that I was doing well. Not that manager, my other manager, but the one that fired me, he was gone. And I just explained to him, I was like, man, I really did enjoy working here because I love the clothing line. I was like, and I explained to him, I was like, yeah, they told me I couldn't come back because I needed an extra day to cut weight, and I know he didn't understand what that meant. Um, so he was kind of bummed out about it because it would have been cool to have a UFC fighter working at Zara. It would have been kind of boss, right? Even
Yeah.
if it was just for a little bit. So I understand that grind, working like that, coming off of a surgery, having no money, having your girlfriend at the time paying or offering to pay for stuff, and you're just kind of at home being a couch potato, being a bum because you can't work because you have one arm working. So like I've been through so much, and then now when I see all the stuff that we're able to do, I'm like forever grateful because I do forget sometimes, and like now I don't think of it as a big deal, but then I look back, I'm like, man, I wasn't doing any of this, so it's definitely a blessing. So I do have to sometimes keep that in perspective, like. Not everyone is fortunate to be able to do something like this, and if I could pay it forward and help pull somebody up. Speaking of pulling somebody up, there's a kid in El Salvador that we posted, Carlos Galan. I want to try to bring him up to the States. I got to figure out how to get him a visa. So I'm gonna probably try to do some research on that this week and see how I could get him up here to train for like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, like pay for his trip, food and everything, and have him train. I think he has a lot of potential. The kid was throwing head kicks into a spinning back kick to the head, and I'm just like, nah, son, this kid is legit, bro. This kid is legit. Obviously, the grappling could use a little work. I could tell he's a little green there, but the striking, he looked comfortable, movement, aggressive, young, hungry, and full of.
Please don't.
So we'll see. I think it'd be cool. We could host him here at the house, and we'll see. I think this would be a cool thing that we could do, kind of like looking for a fight, but instead we're like looking for prospects that we can help mold and hopefully be a catalyst in their journey, and they could change their lives and their families' lives. So I think that would be a cool little series to start. So we'll see. I wasn't thinking about content about it, but I was like, this is actually great content.
That'd be amazing.
I just want to do it because I would like to help somebody. And I would like to go to Jamaica and do something like that. If there's like an MMA event or some gyms we could watch and see how they work and see if there's some potential there, and or see if we could do like a developmental program. There's a lot of great opportunities. So now I'm like wearing hats of different businessmen, of different things that I could kind of take my career. So a lot of good stuff on the horizon.
Good times.
So off to 2025. If anyone can help with the visa situation, like seriously, like no, seriously help, definitely email me. I would say comment, but there's gonna be, I think the email is gonna be the best way to reach me because I check my emails like every day, probably too often.
Yeah, I'm always getting some random email you're forwarding me from some random advertising agency.
I don't want them to waste my time. I want them to waste other people's time.
I never read them, right?
Yeah, then if it's worth the time, then you guys will tell me, and then maybe we go somewhere with it. So with that said, email me through my IG or send it through my website, aljamainsterling.com, and we'll take a look and see what we can do.
Let's go.
Any closing statements?
Big year. 2025 is the year.
2025 is the year. We're going to be partying at Zook in Las Vegas. So if you're here in Las Vegas, pull up.
Hell yeah.
Pull up.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think, and let us know what you're grateful for this year. I think even if you might feel like it's pointless, I think when you write out your thoughts, good things come back to you. I really do believe in that. So write it out, share it with the world, put it out there in the universe, and hopefully it comes back tenfold. And with that said, we are out.
Let's get it.
Peace.